Bitcoin is trying to fool everyone as it dumped to the $58,000. We are breaking below important support, but I personally think this is the time to be bullish on Bitcoin. There's a lot of interesting data I want to show you. I'm going to have a look at the two altcoins Ethereum and Chainlink. So watch this video all the way to the end, like the video, and let's dive right into the charts. Yesterday I was talking about this chart on the 4-hour time frame. We saw that Bitcoin was finally breaking above this huge critical resistance on the 4-hour time frame. And yesterday we saw a little bit of a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, because I was thinking that we were seeing a retest and then aim for higher prices. But Bitcoin fell below it, and that is very unfortunate to see, of course. So for now, we can maybe expect a little bit of a retest for this previous resistance, and let's see if Bitcoin can finally break through this resistance, as we saw multiple touch points here in the past as resistance. And as we can see, Bitcoin broke above it, and we are seeing a little bit of a fake out for now. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this previous resistance and maybe force a breakout to the top side again, and this will be a very pretty fake out to see. And eventually the longs are getting flushed, and we see a lot of liquidations coming into the market, because yesterday we saw 110 million liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the 1 hour. So this is insane to see. So this was causing the big drop to the downside. All the longs were flushed, and Bitcoin came back all the way to the $58,000. Yesterday the Bitcoin ETF also saw a bit of a bearish day. We saw an outflow of $127 million, so that is insane. The ARK Bitcoin ETF was selling like crazy, and they sold for over $102 million, so that is a little bit bearish, of course. And this is having a bearish price effect for Bitcoin, and this could also have caused the drop for Bitcoin yesterday. So let's see if today can be a little bit more positive than yesterday, and that we're going to see a spike to the top side again. Back to the chart on the daily time frame, which I'm always discussing with you, with this kind of horizontal resistance and support area. Yesterday we fell below this huge horizontal support, so now I'm going to paint this support again red, because it's going to be turned into resistance. We fell all the way to the $58,000, and that was exactly where the first big support was for Bitcoin. And now we're seeing a bit of a bounce already, so we could also see a bounce back to this huge big resistance around the $61,000, which was acting as support yesterday. But for now, yeah, we're still in this downtrend on the daily time frame, but also we are still in this uptrend. So the price is a little bit getting squeezed into an apex eventually, and eventually we want to see a break to either the top side or the downside. So we were going to see a lot of volatility come in the coming weeks for Bitcoin. So yesterday Bitcoin fell below important support. Also we saw this huge upward sloping support line for Bitcoin, and we fell below it. So this is looking a little bit more bearish, and we can maybe expect a retest of this previous support to turn it into resistance, and from there we can aim for her lower targets. So for now we are seeing a lot of bearish price action coming for Bitcoin into play, and eventually I think we're going to see a bounce to this level, turn previous support into resistance, and from there you can enter the market in a short, or you can maybe just aim for lower targets. And this is looking a little bit more bearish than bullish, of course, for Bitcoin. But eventually I think that Bitcoin will create more bullish price action on the higher time frame. And actually we're also still in this uptrend for Bitcoin, so we could also see more bullish price action in the coming days. So let's see what happens for Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin monthly returns are looking a little bit more bearish for August. In the past we are seeing a little bit of more red months for August in the last years. And we are seeing a 7.85% already for this month. So also the month of September is overall a little bit more of a bearish month than a bullish month, as we can see here in the past. So let's see if this month can still close in green, and what September and October and the rest of the year will bring us. Eventually October is one of the most bullish months for Bitcoin. So let's see if we're going to see a huge rise again. So for now we are a little bit more bearish in the month of August. So let's see what the coming 3 days for Bitcoin will bring us. And on the daily time frame I've been monitoring this huge chart for Bitcoin. We saw this important and critical resistance / support coming into play, and yesterday we fell below this huge support. I was thinking that we were going to see a bounce from this level, because in the past we saw multiple touch points here in the past as resistance and support, and after every time we broke certain support or resistance we saw a big bounce from that level. And yesterday we saw a little bit of a fake out, and we are now back below this resistance area. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this area and eventually we want to see a break to the top side and create more bullish price action. And of course we can also see a bearish retest that we're going to see the previous support being turned into resistance, and from there we have to aim for lower prices. And from there we can aim for the lowest support line, and that will be around the $52,000. And that's one support we already came back to, but we bounced from. So this would be the most important support level for Bitcoin to hold. Otherwise we could go back to bear market lows, and that is not what we want to see. So let's see what Bitcoin can bring us in the coming days. And we can also see that Bitcoin is creating a little bit of a price squeeze, and eventually this price is being compressed into an apex. So this could also be a very interesting formation to monitor in the coming weeks. And for now, we have to be a little bit patient what Bitcoin is going to do. So we are going to either see a break to the top side or a break to the downside. And yesterday, the Ethereum ETFs also had a bit of a bearish day. We saw an outflow of 3.4 million, so that was not very bearish, of course. And still, BlackRock is not buying. So when BlackRock is going to buy Ethereum, I think Ethereum will see more bullish price action. So for now, we are seeing a lot of negative days for Ethereum. So this could maybe turn around in the coming weeks. And if we then have a look at the chart of Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame, we can see in the past we saw this previous resistance was being turned into support multiple times, and every time we touched this area we saw a bounce to the top side. And yesterday we fell below this important support, and now we are back at these lows, and I think we're going to retest this previous support as resistance, and from there we can maybe aim for lower targets. But of course we want to see this area regained, and then that we're going to see more bullish price action to the top side. So yesterday I was buying at this green box of accumulation because I thought this would be a very good place to hold the support for Ethereum. So we fell below this level, and now we're seeing a little bit more bearish price action. But that doesn't matter for me because I'm long-term investing into Ethereum, and eventually I think that Ethereum will go to levels around the $10,000 in the coming bull market, and from here that will still be a 4x. And if we then have a look at the daily time frame, we can see that Ethereum is still trading inside this range with multiple touch points here on the lower side as support and multiple touch points on the top side as resistance. So these two horizontal levels for Ethereum are the most important levels. So if we're coming back to this huge support level, this could also be a very interesting place to buy more Ethereum. So Ethereum could also go back to this huge resistance on the top side, and then we have to see if this resistance is going to be broken. And of course we are in the middle of this range, so we could also potentially see that we're going to do support, or that we're going to see this huge resistance coming into play. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Chainlink. We can see Chainlink is in this downward sloping channel. We can see multiple touch points on the lower side as support and on the top side as resistance. And earlier this week we saw a big rejection from the top side resistance, and now we are seeing a bit of a rejection. So this is looking a little bit more bearish, but eventually a falling channel is a bullish biased pattern, and it tends to break to the top side more often. So eventually I think that we're going to see a break of this huge resistance on the top side, retest it as support, and then aim for higher targets. And then the top side of this formation will be the breakout target, and that will be around the $19. So that is still an important pattern for Chainlink. And if we then zoom out on the weekly time frame, we saw this huge head and shoulders pattern unfolding for Chainlink, and now we are seeing a break below this important resistance and support, and we're seeing multiple touch points here in the past as support, and now we're flipping it into resistance. So this could also mean that we are seeing a little bit of a bearish move for Chainlink, because this previous support is now being retested as a resistance, so we could also see more lower targets from here. But of course we want to see this regain of this area, eventually turn it into support, and then aim for higher prices, and that would also be confluent with a breakout of this falling channel to the downside. So let me know in the comments what you think about Chainlink, and if you hold Chainlink in your portfolio. Personally, I think that Chainlink will see levels around $100, and that will still be a 10x from around these prices. Please give a thumbs up if you find the video useful, follow me on my socials, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.